Hi everyone, good afternoon. I am Glenn Pajares of the Department of Liberal Arts and Behavioral Sciences of the Visayas State University, Baybay City, Leyte, Philippines. And I am here to present my paper entitled Catholic Media Ethics and its Role in Combating Misinformation and Disinformation in the Philippines. So I'll start with my introduction. In our age and time, the 21st century, it is considered as the age of the social media. So most of the people in the Philippines and around the globe use Facebook, Twitter, and other platforms for entertainment, information, and sources of knowledge. The use of social media paved the way to the spread of misinformation and disinformation. When we speak of misinformation, this is the unintentional, non-deliberate proliferation of falsehood or the untruth, while disinformation is intentional, it's deliberate. So that's the difference between misinformation and disinformation. But whether it's misinformation and disinformation, both have harmful or negative effect to people because they deceive people, they manipulate, and they also exploit people. So it destroys the truth, it harms the dignity and rights of individuals. Based on literature review, the common solutions are very much scientific and technical. So the common or the most popular solutions or strategies to address misinformation and disinformation are media literacy, the use of algorithms, fact checkings, and other tools. These solutions I consider as external to the human person, and I do believe that the real cause is the person himself or the individual moral agent who is the culprit or perpetrator of misinformation and disinformation. So the problem is not really technological. The existing solutions somehow address the secondary causes but not the primary. And the primary is no other than the human person himself, the moral agent. So this problem is an anthropological problem, a moral problem. And such a problem requires an anthropological and a moral solution. And the Catholic Church has a very rich media ethics which addresses the person himself or the anthropological or the moral problem. However, based on observation, many Catholic institutions in the country do not integrate or utilize the media ethics of the church in its education, in its communication and journalism curricula. Thus, this paper is written. Regarding the method, the paper uses the qualitative research method, particularly document analysis. So what has been done is the analysis of documents of the Catholic Church on media and social communication. And from the analysis, the main principles, ideas, concepts, and themes are drawn. We go to the results and discussion of the paper. So the paper is divided into different chapters. So the first chapter talks about the essence of communication and media. Communication, its origin, is rooted in the communication and communion of the Trinity. Therefore, communication per se is sacred. And the essence of communication is not just to express and convey feelings and idea, but it is to build a genuine community or genuine communities. Therefore, communication is an act of love and geared towards the common good of the community. Also, media are products of human genius. And it's important to note that human genius is a gift from God. Therefore, it is holy, it is sacred, and it is good in itself. If it is sacred and it is good, therefore communication has to be treated or dealt with utmost sanctity, holiness, and utmost care and respect. Because its purpose, its design, its goal is towards the good of man. And also, um, its goal is to lead man to God and to be like God and to be with God. Therefore, communication in itself is good. So if it is good, it is not intended to be used for something evil or something harmful to humanity. So that is the essence of communication and media. It is sacred, it is holy, it is good. Therefore, it requires to be treated holily. We go to the second chapter of the paper. So it talks about the basic functions of media and communication. Now, since media is by nature good, is by nature sacred, then its purpose, its design, its function is to fulfill the goal of the human person, which is to be holy, to be like God, to be a true imago Dei, and someday to be with God in heaven. Thus, communication leads man to the truth, to beauty or to ultimate beauty, and to the ultimate good, the highest good, who is God himself. Also, it is to promote human dignity, protect human rights, and serve the common good. Communication aids commerce and business for human development and growth. It is designed to inform citizens for authentic political participation and to sustain political communities. Moreover, media and communication is meant to preserve, share, and respect varied cultures and traditions. And finally, media and communication are geared towards educating people to become good citizens of the world and to bring out the good in every man. Therefore, media should not be used, or communication should not be used other than these functions or purpose. Otherwise, media and communication fail to fulfill its purpose, its design, its goal, or its end, which according to virtue ethics is a violation of nature, and whatever violates nature, purpose, and design is evil. The next chapter is the elements of media analysis and criticism. The Roman Catholic Church urges all people, not just Catholics and Christians, to be critical of media and communication. So these are the steps or the elements when we analyze and criticize media and communication. So first, look at the intention or the purpose or the goal of media production, use, consumption, and transmission. Remember that a good action or evil action starts with intention. Second, one looks into the act itself, whether the act is good or the act is evil in itself. Third, the content and the message. Fourth, the circumstances of production, use, consumption, and transmission of media. When you say circumstances, this refers to, or circumstance, this refers to people, place, thing, whatever is involved in the production, use, consumption, and transmission of media. Then we have the examination of the impact, the effects, the consequence, and implication of media and communication use, production, and consumption. And it is not enough for an individual to just do this thing by himself. In order for the analysis and criticism to be comprehensive, integral, one has to dialogue, to collaborate with other stakeholders of media, so that one's analysis and criticism will also be accurate, complete, integral, whole, in a wider perspective. And finally, in the analysis and criticism of media, there's a need to look at it in a lens or the framework, which are the moral and ethical principles and norms. like virtue ethics, natural law, divine law, and the teachings of the church. So these are the different elements on how to analyze media and communication in the perspective of Catholic media ethics. Then the next chapter talks about the ethical principles and norms of media production, utilization, analysis, and criticism. So in the previous chapter, we are provided with the elements, or I would say the method, on how to analyze and criticize media and communication. Here, we are provided with the framework. So one is the telos of media. The purpose and goal is for the good of the person, for the integral development of the person. So if you use the media contrary to this purpose, or contrary to the good of the person, then media fails to accomplish its nature and design. Second principle or norm is solidarity. So media is not just for the individual good, but it is aimed at the common good. So it's not just the individual good that we are looking at or pursuing, but it is the good of the community. We have justice. Media, the use of media, the production of media. We have to consider the rights and welfare of the minority, of the vulnerable sectors, of the least advantaged members of society. That's what justice is. That's what fairness is. That's what equity is. Next is transparency and accountability and service. So the use of media, the production of media should be transparent, and the ones involved should be accountable and responsible of the consequences of what they have made. And this requires full and active participation of stakeholders. So there has to be transparency and accountability and service. Then we have freedom and the right to express. Of course, this is acknowledged by the church, but again, freedom and the right to express does not warrant one to do what is wrong or what is evil. True freedom and true right is always geared towards the good. In other words, the users of media, the producers of media, will only have the duty, or has the duty, or have the duty to do good, and the good only, not evil. Then we have propriety, decency in the manner of presenting or the delivery. We have truth or truthfulness, fairness, accuracy in the reporting and the dissemination of information, completeness, respect for privacy and confidentiality. Then the next chapter has something to do with duties and responsibilities on media and communication. So in the previous chapter, the essence of the media has already been presented, the functions of media, the elements of media analysis and criticism, and of course the norms and principles used in the production, use, analysis, and criticism of media. So here we have the duties. So media producers, users, and consumers should be critical, analytical, evaluative, discerning, and selective. There's a need for moderation and control because virtue lies in the middle of excess and lack. So too much of something is bad, the lack of something is also evil. So virtue or the right thing or the good thing lies in the middle of everything, in the production, use, and transmission of media. Of course, another duty of parents and elders or adults is to guide, to provide guidance and education to the children and the young, because they need guidance. And children, in turn, must be open to education and formation. They have to be receptive. They have to be open, welcoming to the teaching and guidance of parents and adults. And of course, a collaboration of stakeholders. To fight or to combat misinformation and disinformation cannot be accomplished by just one or two or a few, but it is a concerted effort of all. So that's how we determine our success in this battle. And all institutions and communities should provide media education and formation. This is our duty and responsibility. And for the conclusion, it is already very clear that the Catholic Church has a rich or has a solid principle and standards on media ethics. And these principles and standards should be taught, learned and observed, or followed or practiced, not by Catholics and Christians, but by all people and institutions. It is the recommendation of this paper that all academic institutions, including formation centers of Catholic institutions and schools, should teach the Catholic media ethics or integrate it in their curriculum or syllabi in subjects related to media and communication. So this is Glenn Pajares. Good afternoon, and I'm already ready for the question and answer, and thank you for listening and watching. Once again, good afternoon, and God bless everyone.